Good
Hey,
morning.
hey Tina, how are you?
Good. How y'all doing?
Good. Doing good. Geez, even Eric's here. Heck.
Oh, we got Dana here. How exciting. He's ever
Hey,
ready, by the way, if anybody wanted to know.
where are you at, Dana?
I'm in Los Angeles, Sherman Oaks.
Okay, okay.
He's a friend of Remo
Remo.
from Los Angeles.
I live
Talked
in.
to Remo yesterday. So Andy will appreciate this. I think I told you, Jeff and Tina. Remo, who is Dana's sponsor. Dana's brand new with us, by the way, so welcome him.
Welcome, Dana.
Thank you.
But Remo's in DC, lives in California for the most part, and was in DC for the fourth for the 250. He's in the Watergate Hotel. He runs into Brent Gove out of nowhere. Brent turns around and goes, "Hey, what are you doing?" He said, "It's on the fourth, actually, or maybe not, might not have been, but either way, he said, 'Hey, why don't you come back to my place?'" So on the night of the fourth, Remo and his wife Elizabeth and Brent and Kathy, the four of them for like 3 hours in Brent's suite, just watching fireworks, talking real estate.
That's cool.
Sort of cool thing. Hello, Rich. How are you?
How you doing, my friend?
I'm good. I'm good, dude. You live like 5 minutes away from me. I never see you. It's okay. Jeff, you're going to run this, I know, but I come in and do what I normally do. I stir the water. Tina,
Yes, sir.
you got good news?
Oh yeah, always doing well
Tell me,
this year.
tell me the greatest thing that happened since the first of the year for you.
Um, I'm halfway to my goal. Halfway through the year, I had a goal that I set in January of how many houses I was going to sell,
Okay.
that I was going to cap within the first few months of the year, and I do kind of have a hidden goal, but that one may be a little farther out, but
Do you want to know how to get hidden goals faster?
state them.
No. Well, that's one of them. Not make them hidden is one. Because thoughts are things, and we respond based on thoughts. But the other thing to remember is this. I was talking to somebody, a guy that's done very well in his life yesterday about this concept. Often the best way to get to all that you ever want is to get to the next thing quicker. So if you get to your stated goal faster, and it's September when you hit your stated goal, then you can hit your real goal.
Well,
Not about
if Andy will send me more leads, I close everything he sends me. So if he
Okay.
sends more leads,
Good
I'll,
work, Andy.
I'll be great.
I should have sent you this last one I was dealing with.
Yes, send me all the hard ones. I'll take the hard ones. I'll take the crazies. I'll take the
Yeah, this one was hard and crazy, and yeah, we hadn't closed yet, but I think we're one step closer. But home inspection came back. Short story: the roof is in kind of bad shape because the roof's only 3 years old, but somebody went up there and put finishing nails in the shingles to
uh,
keep them from flapping.
yeah.
And so I had a professional roofer go out and look at it. And he said he could replace them all for like the ones that are damaged for like $2,000, whatever it was, and replace the vent caps and all that stuff. And called the seller. I'm representing the buyer. Called the seller, told him because she's a real estate agent in another part of the state. And she says, I don't care. I'm not doing anything. And I said, oh, okay. I said, well, so after the long conversation, she tells me that my due diligence period on my home inspection was up because July 3rd was not a holiday. I said, yes, it is. It's a federal holiday. She wanted to argue with me and say that it wasn't. And I said, she said, your buyers are, if they want me to do anything, they can back out of the contract. They're going to lose their owner's money. And I said, no, no, they're not. I said, let's don't have this argument. Let's just try to resolve the problem. And then she said, well, the problem is, I said, here's a good question. Do you want to sell your house? And she said, no. I said, what? And she said, my husband made me put it on the market. I don't want to sell it.
Oh my.
And I said, okay. So I called my buyer and he said, put the screws to her. I don't give a crap. He said, let's just move on with it. I said, okay. So called her up and told her, I said, you ain't got no choice now. You're selling it because we're fine with doing nothing and let's move. And as a matter of fact, they don't want to close on the 24th. They want to close Monday. And she said, that only gives me 3 days to get out of my house. And I said, that's on you. So here we go.
What agency is she with?
Better Homes and Gardens, I think. And she's a Huntsville agent, and they think they're, you know what, don't stink.
Yeah.
Her house sure does. It leaks for sure. Dana, this is Connect to Collaborate. We moved it from Wednesday to Friday. This is where you come in, you hear some stuff, but you also ask some stuff. Anything going on in your world in Los Angeles?
Well, I'm laughing at they think their stuff don't stink because if you think you got that out anywhere in the rest of the country, come on out here to Los Angeles and I'll introduce you to quite a few who own that domain. I'm also laughing at the finishing nails in the shingles because I own an apartment building, 16-unit apartment building that was built 100 years ago. And what landlords love to do is they don't clean, they paint. All right. So you've got wood doors that have 16 coats of paint. And then and all you got to do, they start to jam because they start to swell, and you can study the history of colors and the interior fashions of the year by stripping these doors. You had in the early 70s, of course, you had pastels and wallpaper, and then it moved into Swiss coffee, and that's very popular. Everybody over the decades has done something in the neighborhood of Swiss coffee, but you go from pinks to pastels to wallpapers. People will put wallpapers on doors. Folks,
Oh my goodness.
the wallpaper doesn't belong in the door jamb. All right. Like finishing nails don't belong on shingles.
No.
Wow.
Since there's a handful of us and we're telling stories, at one point I was doing a meeting in someone's house because people don't think, right? Dana, they don't think, right?
No.
I was doing a meeting in someone's house. It was an evening meeting. It was years ago. I was in the Amway business of all things. And I was doing a meeting, and it was just so you know, in Cabrini Green in Chicago. It was in that area of Chicago. But I ventured in because I was selling hope on a stick, hope on a rope. And I got to the house. The meeting was supposed to be at 6 o'clock. I definitely need to do it during the day and wanted to get back out of there while it was still light. Did it at 6 o'clock. I showed up at 6. I showed up about 5:30, 5:40. I come up, I knock on the door. Door opens. There's the guy sitting there with the long pole and a roller. And he said, "Good. I just got the floor finished." And he had painted the floor, his wooden floor, all gray. And it looked perfect until I walked in. And by the end of the night, there was legitimate. It looked like it was because the paint was, but people just don't think. Like you said, landlords, they don't think. They're thinking about how do I get out of today's problem?
Yep.
Anthony Robbins teaches something that says we've got to learn to work more on the important rather than the urgent. If you look in your day and you're working on urgent things that need to get done right now, it's because you weren't working on important things enough that everything all of a sudden becomes urgent. So the minute I heard that training, I started looking at life different, and it does change the way we think. Go ahead.
A story on buying that apartment building that I bought 20 years ago, and this was a lesson that I learned about inspections. We had obviously an inspection. This is an inspection on a 100-year-old building, and one of the inspector's notes was that inside of the old galvanized plumbing, there was, future leaks with the galvanized plumbing was starting to deteriorate. I had never had a large complex with galvanized plumbing in it. So I thought, okay, over the next few years, we'll, do a little bit of replacement. For the next 3 years, I was paying on a regular basis the plumber to come out and replace and fix the galvanized plumbing. Life was good. Rates were low. I took out $25,000 and repiped the entire complex. And my plumber started to call me and say, "Hey, everything okay? I said, everything's wonderful, Henry. He said, do you need anything? Nope. And I've said to clients from the rest of forward, read your inspections. If there's something that needs to be done, that's an obvious one. That's a contingency. We'll figure that one out. But those things that are noted in the inspection that say at some point, maybe in the future, make that future in the next 30 days, make that future in the next 6 months. Pay attention to that stuff.
Yeah. Cool. Rich, do you have anything today other than smiling in your orange shirt?
Not really. I'm just listening to you guys chat, trying to learn something. Galvanized pipes makes me laugh.
Yeah.
Well, I'll put a shameless plug in for Orange Beach or Perdido Key or Gulf Shores. Y'all got any referrals? I'm your girl.
It's not shameless. It's proudful.
I will
If you
sell it, or
if it ain't nailed down, you'll sell it.
I will sell it.
Jeff, we've got Mary Koslewski and Enfost. I'm going to say that's, I don't know, Nick.
Nancy and Anjanette. I know them, but they're on here.
I bet it's Anjanette and Nancy. Of course.
Yeah.
They're welcome to jump on anytime.
Eric jumps in and just, yeah.
I stir it up and I get, how quickly am I out, Jeff, when I'm out?
Oh, you'll be out in the next couple of minutes. And then
I will.
Leave all the mess to us to clean up. So.
He does the seagull method. He swoops in, poops on everything, and leaves.
I eat what's freshly thrown before I do that. There's Anjanette.
How you doing, Anjanette? Good?
Good morning. Yep, good.
I'm going to brag on Anjanette. Anjanette came into our program, and she is going through our YouTube training program.
Great.
And she's doing everything we've asked her to do. And where it took me, who developed the program, 4 months to get my first phone call from YouTube, Anjanette has gotten her first phone call and showing in 2 months.
Whoa! Congratulations.
Thank you.
Because you have a great trainer.
Yes, the best.
Well, she's a very good student. She plugs along. She does everything. She shows up every week, and she's consistent, and that's the key.
Yeah.
Andy,
Mary,
you ever
how
noticed?
often how often are you posting, Mary?
How long?
How often? Like multiple times a week?
Andy said that 2 videos every week.
2 videos a week. Okay.
What days of the week are you posting?
Thursdays and Sundays.
Yep. That's
Does it still, Andy, does it still matter to do it at the same time, or is it just the same day?
You want to get in a rhythm, and start to build an audience, and then YouTube will tell you the best time to post after you've built a certain audience.
Yeah.
Like with us, we've got right at 4,000 subscribers, and we get probably anywhere from 15 to 25,000 views a month. And so YouTube tells us my prime time is Sunday afternoons at 3:00. So I post at 2 to give it an hour to sit in there. And then that way, and I've got probably 2 months worth of videos already scheduled out, because life happens, right? So if something happens, like this weekend, I'm going to be gone. I've got to go to my sister's memorial service on tomorrow. We're leaving today in a couple of hours to go to that. And so I'm not going to have time to do anything. So luckily I have a video already scheduled. So
Nice.
Yeah. Andy and Tim are the best.
Awesome.
love
Best
it.
teacher, YouTube teacher.
You know what's interesting is
Andy's good. Tim's okay.
I think Tim's awesome. I think Tim. Here's what's interesting: the student makes the teacher. If
Definitely.
if you will do what Andy just said, if you'll just do the things that don't take talent, just do what we tell you to do. It works. We're not telling you to do it because it doesn't work, and so you make it easier, and we win faster. I will also say, when you're working with somebody and trying to get something from somebody, being nice matters. Calling them frustrated doesn't help you. It doesn't help them, because then they have to talk you out of frustration. So calling before frustration matters. If you can recognize I'm going to get frustrated, so I'm not going to get frustrated. I'm going to call one of the 5 or 6 people that are sitting in front of us. Danny, you're brand new to us, but you can call me, you can call Remo, you can call Jeff, you can call Andy, you can call Sean. I mean, any of us, we're going to answer your questions quicker before you get frustrated any further. So the other thing I tell everybody, especially new, is use EXP World. Go in, use your brokers, use your broker team. Learn. Dana, have you been in the world yet?
Briefly, I'm exploring that whole region, and I just wrote down to sign up on Andy's training for the YouTube, if that's still something I can plug into.
We can, we'll talk that through. He'll talk to you about what that could look like. In Los Angeles would be an interesting market to do it in. But with EXP World, they have a tour 3 days a week. They might have one now that's automatic if you just, grab it. But learning how to go in, also learning, especially for you, going in and meeting the brokers, getting them to know who you are. Hey, I'm Dana. I'm brand new over here. I don't have a lot of questions, but when I have them, I need the answers. Tell me the best way to get a hold of you. And often they'll say, here's my private number. Here's this directly. Now, you also have an 800 number. You also have an email. They all monitor all that stuff. And of course, they're in the world from roughly 9 to 5 your time. They're there. And the world's open all the time. But those agents that get frustrated are agents that don't do what we're asking them to do at the beginning, which is just learn the easiest way to do everything. And the easiest way to do everything is ask. We're an agent and we think we're all solo agents. You are so low that no one can hear you unless you scream. That's how low you are. We're so low agents. So scream, hey, I need this. Okay, where do I find this? Andy and Tim are incredible at guiding people to those things. So ask away. Jeff as well. Hey, Kelly, Sean, that's our jobs. Kathy, Tim, our jobs are to get you to the answer. Sometimes we don't know it. What else going on out there in the world? Tina, you said you need more leads. Do you do things to generate your own?
So I work with Andy, and I'm a part of a funnel, and those leads come in, and I'm pretty diligent. I'm not very patient. I do all the things that I've been doing since I became an agent. This is my 6th year. Contacting people, asking for leads every time I do a closing. We had a closing Monday, and she posted a great review on my Google. And so I'm doing all the kind of little things on a daily basis. And, other than that, I haven't paid for leads or done any other programs. I like Andy's program. I am trying to figure it out, how it best is going to work for me. But I get caught up too in doing the work. So I had 7 closings in April. And so when I said I was having a good year, for me, this is going great. For you guys, that may not seem like a lot, but for me, that's fantastic. But I get caught up in doing that. And then I've got to keep this wheel turning over here with all the generation as well, because I know that those April closings came from last December's work.
Exactly. Yeah.
Well, and the lady who left you a raving review came from the YouTube channel, believe it or not. And she was, for all intents and purposes, she was fairly easy to work with, was she not?
Well, we had a one that she put under contract, and then she had cold feet. That was early on. So when I say, once I get involved, I'm going to sell it, so she kind of, went away, but I kept on. And here we are, a month later, we actually closed on one. So, we've got an interesting, we have interesting sales down here because we're selling investments in a lot of ways. We're selling primaries in many ways. So we've got to be able to pivot. I've got a primary today, I've got an investment tomorrow, I've got a second home the next day, all in the same day. So, you just got to be able to keep that all going, that machine all going. And, but I'm not complaining. As far as that part goes, I got that. I just like to have more leads that when I get to the person, they're like, yep, when can we meet? And it happens a good bit, but not as much as I would like. So maybe I'm getting a little, antsy.
Dana, how long you been doing this? How long you been in the business?
Was that to me, you asked?
Yeah.
I only got my license a year and a half ago. I've been an investor since I bought a boat in San Francisco in 1991, and then a house in St. Augustine, Florida in 1998, and moved on with commercial real estate starting in 2003. I made some money on both of those properties. The boat, oddly enough, because of the dot-com era, if people remember that. Boats don't appreciate until there is fantasy money running through people's hands like you can't believe. And St. Augustine, I did very well in St. Augustine in a short amount of time because of that massive golf course that they built out on the 95 a couple of years after I bought down there. So I've been largely an investor for 20 years. But as an investor, I obviously follow all the residential markets as well as the commercial markets.
Right.
And
Okay.
Remo moved his focus. He moved to 29 Palms from LA, which is a number of hours. But Remo has a tremendous number of relationships in LA.
Yep.
And so looking for, I call him a junior agent, a partner agent, someone to be able to pass along so he can go for 2 weeks or 3 weeks to DC and go hang out with Brent Gove by surprise. So,
Very cool.
hey, Andy and Jeff, I see a bright sunshine. I got to run for this bright. I got to go.
See you, Eric. Have a good day.
He's motivational. If nothing else, he is motivational. If you come on thinking, okay, I'm trying to get myself going or whatever, one way or the other, Jeff or Eric, Tim, gonna motivate you. Sean. So when I'm feeling like, okay, things are slowing down, what do I got to do to get myself pumped up? That's when I come to this group. If that's not a statement, I don't know what is. A statement for other people. Very motivational.
We
Tina-
appreciate that. The problem with motivation is it's like bathing. It wears off in a day. So the concept here is we really want to move motivational to inspirational to get you to do something. So I'll leave you with this statement to do something. All of us have one habit right now that we're doing that's killing us. It could be personal, could be health, could be business related, but one habit, a waste of time that we're constantly doing, something that we know is not working, whatever it is, but we're just belligerent. One habit. Identify today what that habit is, stop doing it. The other thing is we all have one habit that we're not doing that we should. All of us know what it is. What would those two changes would affect your business 20%, would affect your life 20%. And once you learn how to do that, how to add something you want to do and get rid of something you don't want to do, you become a life of change. And what happens is you become successful because people are not successful. People with successful habits are successful. And people are not successful. People with unsuccessful habits are not successful. So look at your habits and ask yourself the question. Today is your spring cleaning for habits. What's one I want? What's one I'm going to get rid of? If you happen to think of it today, right now, while you're with us for the next 15, 20 minutes, put it in the chat. Someone else will say, good job, because I won't be here.
And he's gone.
There he goes. Gone. Okay, now we can get started.
Seagull.
No, good stuff.
I'll jump in for a moment. Tina, I liked what you said about you'll make it happen. That is one of the things that I can pitch about myself out here in Los Angeles. Give them to me. Hard cases. As a tenant, I was a high school teacher. I worked with high risk juvenile offenders for 10 years. I've got you can't piss me off. You can't. It is not personal. Somebody's life. I own homes that people live in, right? I own the apartments that people are living. I've seen the dirty dishes. I've seen the bugs. I've seen it all. All right. It's not an attack on me. It's somebody else's life. When we are looking for a home, it is, as you all know better than I do, it's a home. It's a very, 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 very personal decision. It's not always easy. It doesn't bother me.
Yeah, it's good. For sure. Leanne, good morning. How are you?
Good. How are y'all?
Good, good. Did that one place close?
It did
Did
yesterday.
it? Oh, good. Yesterday.
I mean, no, Wednesday. I'm sorry.
Okay. She was on here. She was on here what, probably 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago.
Yeah, something
And you
like that.
need some help with that property. Whatever and when you end up going out, we were talking about the pictures. You need some different pictures. You need to open that up because it was kind of tight. And it ended up going under contract, right? Like
Yeah, it did.
shortly after that. Yeah.
Yeah, right after that.
And
Hmm.
closed. So that's the value I think of just, whatever, just bring your stuff here and let other people just kind of pour into it. Take a look at it. Take a look at an ad that you want to run. Take a look at a social media post or a YouTube video or whatever, collaborate. Like, two heads are better than one, 10 heads are better than two, and we can all pour in and kind of help each other and guide each other along. So there's always power in just showing up here. You'll pick up ideas for sure. So, well, congratulations on the closing.
Thank you.
So very cool. So we were trading messages yesterday. You're getting your ticket to EXPCon coming
Yeah,
up.
yes.
It's gonna be good for sure. Who else? Andy, are you gonna be there? Is that working for you?
I'm looking at it. Yeah, I think I am.
Yeah.
When my wife found out I was in Utah, she was like, "Oh, in October, maybe we could go snowmobile riding. Let's go." So
This year it might just be 80 degrees. Who
I
knows?
know, right?
It's been so darn hot. Hard to say what it's going to be out there. But yeah, that'll be a good event. Dane, if you can get there, I mean, again, like, we could all drive there really if we wanted to. It's a long drive, but we could make it, Utah. But yeah, EXP concert, October, what is it? I'm sorry, I'm dog sitting my dog.
9th to the 12th, I believe.
Is that what
Somewhere
it is?
around, somewhere like
Yeah.
that.
Sounds about right.
Yeah. So, but Salt Lake City, it'll be it's always a great event. It'll be 7,000-8,000 people there.
Yeah.
Seventh through the 9th.
7th
Seven.
and 9th, yeah.
Okay. So yeah, really great event. Breakouts, trainings. You can kind of pick the course you want to go down, what classes you want to sit in. They'll have all kinds of certification classes you can go through. Rather than go through a 4-week process, you can get it done while you're there. Just different things that they'll be offering, and it's always just great being around it. So
Yeah, and I would say to meet yourself, set a goal, meet 2 or 3 agents every day, exchange numbers, referral partners. I mean, if you just walked away and got one referral from in the next 12 months, right, it more than pays for the entire event, airfare,
mhm.
all that. And I was going to mention to Tina, still on here?
Yeah.
Yeah. Tina, so you've got the YouTube channel you're doing for production. Do you mind me asking, because your excitement and giving the compliments and the feedback you're getting from the Freedom Team, are you sharing any of that incredible news either on a YouTube channel or somehow on your Facebook profile? Because there may be some agents that would read that who aren't satisfied with their current situation at the brokerage that might reach out to you from posting something about what you've experienced since coming here.
Yeah, I am posting it. I mean, I think that's how Andy saw the review that we got yesterday. I even tagged him and Aileen in it because I'm so thankful for working with them in that funnel. I do post how I'm getting them. I share with others, what I'm doing and how I'm doing it.
Good.
So
And then you might go out, if you're not doing it, go out to some other agents on their site, go like some of their stuff, comment so that they might click back and see some of your reviews about what you're talking about. A lot of the people I interview on a Monday, that's how they have a lot of people joining them. They're constantly giving praise to their situation or whatever it is, and they're tagging other people. And then when they go back and look at that, you're just waiting for that one agent who's a little frustrated, who keeps seeing your positive post about your situation. Yeah, it's just an easy way to attract if you just make that weekly habit of making some of those comments, connections, and so forth, where somebody may reach out to you.
yeah,
Because I love your energy and what you're talking about. And if I'm an agent and I'm frustrated, I'm reviewing your stuff, I keep going, God, this girl loves where she's at. You follow me? And it really does happen. I hear it almost every Monday. So anyway, just take advantage of that, you guys, when you're excited about your situation.
they actually have another broker that has stalked me for 2 years, and she actually will send me a private message that says, "Will you stop promoting EXP? When are you coming to broker for me?" So it definitely works. They may not always engage. Sometimes there's some jealousy. There's some green-eyed monster along the Gulf Coast over here, but but they're probably seeing it.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. And who knows? You could look up in 6 months to a year and that broker's reaching out to you to
Yeah,
have a
no, I've
conversation.
tried. I really want them to come over.
Yeah, definitely. What else is happening? What else who else has something any questions, anybody? Nancy, I don't know if you're able to unmute yourself at all. Might be listening in, got your camera off. She might be busy.
Hey, how are you doing?
There you go. Hey, Nancy, how are you?
I'm doing just fine.
No camera today? You're not camera ready?
Not camera ready.
That's okay. So, hey, real quick, did you get my message, my text the other day? I saw what you got on my calendar for, I think, next Friday or something like that. I forget what it was, but if was it because of your schedule or my schedule, or was it not enough
I
time on
think
the
it was
calendar?
because of my schedule is
Okay.
pretty full.
Okay. Okay. Just if you want to meet earlier, let me know because I can certainly work it out on my end. Okay.
Oh,
So
okay.
yeah, just let me know. So yeah, we got her funnels done, built. I would tell you if you haven't done it yet, turn off your ads until we do meet because we'll go through a bunch of stuff on there. All right, get down. I'm sorry. It's about breakfast time, so it's anyway. But yeah, I would say turn off your ads and when we meet, we'll go through a bunch of stuff. Just that way, whatever the lead, you'll just get more leads and better stuff going on with that after we
Okay.
talk.
All
Okay,
right.
cool. So very cool. What else? Hey, Rich, are you able to unmute again? I know you were driving before, and if you can't, it's all right. Rich, might not be able to down there in Florida. Dana, do you have anything going on right now, Dana, as far as your business? I mean, I mean, I know Sherman Oaks. I lived out, I'm from Indiana. I lived in California for about 15 years. We actually moved here from Sherman Oaks when we moved to Colorado.
I've
But
it's an interesting time. I was literally just got an email that popped up. Los Angeles, as many of you guys, as many of you, I'm sure know, is an inflated market. There's, with the rates as they were for many years, and the pricing is volatile to some degree. That's a big word, I know, but um, there's a lot of hesitation. There's a lot of uncertainty. The one of the large industries in Los Angeles, the film industry, as many know, Taylor Sheridan is taking it to Fort Worth, Texas.
I'll
Uh,
leave. I know. I worked in the
Oak,
business for a long
yeah,
time. Kind of
Oklahoma
Colorado.
City. They're making movies in parts of the country that Hollywood, didn't even know existed 20 years ago.
Yeah.
Infrastructure has been built now outside of Los Angeles. There are stages. So the market is exploring, a new population to some degree. People have left town. Prices were inflated. I know it's hard to believe, but not everybody's a millionaire. And it's an interesting time. It's an interesting time in terms of there's starting to become some opportunity to get back into some of the residential area, the residential market in ways that has been out of people's hands because some prices are coming down. A lot of folks don't like to hear that. They were hoping on, maintaining values that have been true for some time. And, so talking to sellers about some of those changes obviously isn't always what they want to hear, but that's where we're at.
Yeah, definitely. It's a challenging market. I think you could do well. Yeah, well, you could do well out there. There's no question, in terms of residential. I think one of the biggest things, like for me, like I started 24 years ago, and I plugged into a coaching program. My first broker was very old school, and good guy, we're a great guy. I mean, but had me out there door knocking and cold calling, and just this, here's the white pages, and we're calling, cold calls and all this kind of stuff, and just anyway, I got plugged into coaching. A guy, Craig Proctor, he was the number one Remax agent in the world at the time, out of Canada, and I plugged into his system for about 9 years. It's about 20 grand a year to do it, but it paid off in so many ways. It just, his big thing was like, why should a buyer hire you instead of the other, in our case, Colorado Springs, 5,000 agents here. Why should they hire you? Why should a seller hire you? What makes you different? What makes you stand out? Why is your marketing better than every other agent out there? Like, you got to have some answers to some of those kind of things. And if you do that and you market that and do that right, your phone will ring off the hook. And that's what happened for me. I just learned marketing and got different systems in place. What do buyers need? What do buyers want?
Mm-hmm.
They want the best deal possible. They want good rates, all this kind of stuff. Some of it's out of our control, but there's things that we can control. They want the peace of mind. We came up with a buyer guarantee. So Craig was big on guarantees. Your home sold in 89 days guaranteed, or I'll buy it. Now there's a little asterisk out at the end of that. Some conditions, but it's your program. You set the rules, and so I just learned the rules. Here's how Craig ran his. So I just duplicated what Craig did, and I never had to buy a house, but man, my phone rang off the hook. Because what do sellers want? They want to get it sold quickly, as quick as possible. They want the most money as possible with the least amount of hassle.
Yeah.
So anyway, right now with days on market going up all over the country, whatever, like, you set a price limit on there. You'll buy a home up to this amount, whatever, if it doesn't sell. But there's all these conditions in there. They have to be like the way the program worked. It was a move up program. So they had to be moving up and buying one of my listings. Well, if I didn't have a listing that they wanted, that's fine. It's just, I can still list your house, whatever. And now if a house comes on the market that I list while we're under, we got your home on the market and it's one that you want to go see and it fits your criteria. Okay, great. We'll write an offer on that one. If we can come to agreement with that seller, I'm representing you as the buyer. Now the guarantee will kick in. Now from this day on, we have 89 days to get your home sold, or I will buy your house. Now we had automatic price drops in there, because my final offer was like 90% of market value, which I knew was going to sell before I had to buy it.
Yeah.
So we'd have these price drops in, and the last price drop was like 30 days out. And it didn't have to be closed within 89 days. We just had to have it under contract within 89 days. And so I just knew with those things in place, like, the odds of me having to buy a home were 1 in, I don't know, 1,000. I mean, whatever it was. So I never had to buy one, but the phone rang like crazy.
Yeah.
And so I would get the listing. And then here's the back end of that. It's like, let's say, they're moving out of state. Well, you're not going to qualify for my guarantee. I'm not going to buy your house because you're not buying another house with me. However, I'm going to put a sign out front, a rider on top of the sign that says, buy this home and I'll buy yours. Because somebody else, I could go list their house and they want to move up to buy your house. Now I can give them the guarantee. So it's going to make it that much easier. So you're still going to get the back end benefits of this guarantee.
Sure.
I'm not going to buy your house. I'll buy their house so they can buy yours to make the whole thing. You go in, you have these different things in place like this, whatever. And they're like, okay, yeah, where do I sign?
That's an interesting one. Buy this house and I'll buy yours. That's an interesting.
It's the same program. It's just you're applying it across the board. For buyers, we had a buyer guarantee, which I will still use. If I'm in competition with other agents, here's a buyer and they're trying to decide, should I work with Jeff and his wife, or should I work with these two other agents that have been showing me homes too? I'm not under contract with anybody. Whatever, they're fair game. So, okay, we have an 18-month guarantee. Buy any home with us. Use us to help you buy a home. And for 18 months, you're covered after we close on the home. If for any reason you're unhappy, we will either buy the home back from you or we'll sell it for free.
For you. For free.
So you think about, what do buyers want? There's that buyer's remorse. Is this the right house? Oh my gosh, what if another house comes on that we like better? And what if the rates drop and now we're locked in? It's all these things. Don't worry about it. We got you covered.
Yeah.
And I would remind them sometimes, we're out there and, okay, hold on a minute. You're getting cold feet. We're a week out of closing. We looked at 10 homes. This one matched everything that you told me you wanted. Like this, like whatever, like you're fine. And remember, I've got you covered. If you're unhappy, and I would tell you, if you're unhappy for any reason, I would give it. And I'm sitting in a buyer appointment trying to win them over, right? And I would just explain that. I don't know, if you're unhappy for any reason, I don't know, you get in there and the backyard's too small. Geez, not as we need something bigger for the kids. This is making us crazy. Whatever. I don't know. The wife gets pregnant. We need another bedroom. Holy cow, that was unplanned, but it happened. I mean, just
The neighbor plays drums in the middle of the night.
exactly all that kind of stuff. Yeah, it's just like it's too far of a drive to work. The commute's farther than we thought. Oh my gosh, this is going to kill me if we live here for another 5 years. Like, we got you covered. So we would either buy that house back. Now, again, that is the guaranteed sale program. That's what that was.
Yeah.
We will list your house, and I will buy this house if you move up and buy one of my listings. That's that part. Or I would sell it for free. Now, the sell it for free part is they need to be working with me to buy the next house. We're going to list your house. We're going to put on there 3% or whatever we're paying the buyer's agent. We're going to put that.
I represent you on a buy on the next one.
I will do 0 on my side, but I'm still going to get paid when you buy the next house.
Yeah.
Okay. And that's how that one worked. So again, I would get a buyer who is getting homes from 5 other agents, and they don't want me to set them up on a search because we're already getting bombarded. Have you signed up with anybody yet? No, we haven't signed with anybody, but no, we just don't need any more emails. Well, real quick, let me just throw out a couple things. And all I'm going to do is just get my foot in the door. Just so you know, I think we're the only ones in town that do this. We have this 18-month guarantee where we'll buy your home back or sell it for free. If you're unhappy with your home, if you decide you want to work with us. Really? How's that work? Okay, well, and I'd explain it. And next thing, okay, well, yeah, we're looking for a 3-bed, 2-bath. And now I can get my foot in the door, right? Because they set up a search, and now I can win them over to sign on with me, and they're done with the other agents. So just different things, but it's marketing. It's just like, how do I get the word out so that people can see that I'm different than the other 5,000 agents in town? So call me. Let's talk about it. I can take away the hassles of being on the market for 5 and 6 months. I can take away the hassles of, I don't know, 50 people walking through your house over the next 3 months and having to keep it clean and all this kind of stuff and things you don't want to do. I can take away fear of buying the wrong house. Of buyer's remorse, of getting locked in on the wrong rate. Like, I can take away all that stuff. So if you can take away their objections, now they're signing on with you. And most agents, what makes you different? Well, I'm better than any other agent in town. Oh, come on. No, everybody can say that, and that means nothing. I'm the hardest working agent in Colorado Springs, and that doesn't work.
Yeah, everybody's the hardest working agent in Palm Springs. Yeah,
here's the things you hear from these other agents, whatever. So, even some of the stuff now, if you plug in, like the first Tuesday of every month, we bring in Nick Krem, who's teaching us all AI stuff. We've done this for about 2 years now. We've had phenomenal AI training. We had another one 3 days ago, and I went through his program. You can get certified as an AI agent. And so now when I go into a listing appointment, I'm showing them all this AI stuff because that's a big thing right now. And if I can show them how we can make your home stand out using AI, and how your home is going to, like, how buyers are searching right now and AI is determining the results of that search. And if your home is not set up for that, your home's not going to be seen out there. And that's how agents are right now, but we're already way ahead of that game. It's like, do you want to get your home seen in front of 50% of the buyers or all the buyers?
All the buyers.
Yeah. So because I've got this whole AI thing figured out. Let me show you. And here's the examples of some websites we've done that are AI built and AI searchable and all this kind of stuff. And you just show them all that, and they're like, okay, yeah, where do I sign?
This is where it is.
I'll even pay you more. And we've done that over the years. So anyway, there's just a lot. That's the value, I think, of plugging in like every Tuesday with our transactional training. It's like, it might not be a topic you have any interest in. Now they're talking about expired listings. I just don't want to do that. So you don't show up. My thing is show up because you're going to hear ideas.
Yeah.
You're going to hear ideas that will just get you thinking. You might be, I don't know, an agent in Louisville, Kentucky, or Pittsburgh or Seattle. They throw out something in there that just like, okay, whoa, there's something I never thought about. Let me write that one down. I've picked up so many nuggets over the last, 4 years of just being here every Tuesday. I have to be here because I help lead it. So, otherwise I don't know if I'd be here every Tuesday, but I'm here every Tuesday. And I picked up so many ideas over the years by doing that.
No, it is fascinating and for me fulfilling in listening to everything you're talking about, because for 20 years, as I mentioned, I've been an investor. I can talk industrial. I can talk about multifamily. I can talk about triple nets. I can talk about different markets. I can talk about triple A, quality tenants. I can talk about the others. I know that market. Marketing, I'm an old school guy. Marketing to me is sitting down, getting to know you and shaking your hand and and I will never lie to you. I will tell you exactly what I can do to you, and I can make you a friend. But I need to be able to this new world, and also being able to pitch when I host an open house, when I sit down. Nobody wants to shake my hand. I'm sitting at a coffee shop. I just look like one of those guys on that computer writing a letter to mom, right? Knowing how to make that connection, to market my name on AI, on YouTube, on Instagram, on Facebook, on a letter, on an open house, and really show a face that's going to want to shake my hand, and then hear what I'm saying. Not that I'm the best ever. I'm not the best ever. Everybody's the
Sure.
best ever. I'm an
Sure.
honest guy who knows what he's doing, who's going to make sure that you are comfortable, as we call it in one of my business groups. You're gonna find your favorite pillow in the house that you buy. You're gonna have that place where you snuggle up and go to sleep at night.
Yeah. It's good. It's
The
good.
easiest way to do that, Dana,
Yeah.
is YouTube, believe it or not.
Mm-hmm.
Because, when you put a video out there, and it's like, I teach people every week in our training is that what every realtor out there is doing right now is on social media, and like you
Yeah.
said, they're holding up their camera or their phone, and they're saying, "Look at me, I'm the best. I sold 250 homes last year. I did this, I did this. Look at me, look at me, look at me, look at me." And
Mm-hmm.
nobody cares.
No.
The customer does not give a crap about you. They don't
Mhm.
care unless they meet you, like you, trust you, and then they care about you.
Yeah.
And that's where I have a client right now that they live in Missouri. I've only met them in person one time, but they contacted me through the YouTube channel. And I can promise you, I can give you their phone number. You can call them up and say, "Hey, I will, if you'll fire Andy, I'll take the listing at 0% and I'll work for you for free." And they'll tell you to go jump in a lake. I mean, and
Yeah.
and they're paying me 3% because the seller would only pay me 2% and they agreed to pay me the other 1% of my commission because
Hmm.
they absolutely love me, and I couldn't run them off if I tried. But that was conveyed through YouTube, and that
Yeah.
was just us offering up. Basically, what we do is we just show people what it's like to live in Orange Beach, and we tell the truth.
Hmm.
Like, if the traffic sucks in the summertime, which it does, I'm going to
Yep.
tell you the traffic sucks in the summertime. And that's what people love about it, is because we resonate with them, and one of our, and I was telling Anjanette this on Tuesday, that one of our most popular videos has nothing to do with real estate.
Hmm.
Nothing to do with it. It has 68,000 views, and it's about the best seafood restaurant in Orange Beach. Where to go
Hmm.
eat seafood
Hmm.
from a local's perspective.
Hmm.
And we don't ever say, all we do is say, if you like our content, then call us. If you want to move here, call us.
Yeah.
And we make it come across as, we don't care. We don't care
Yeah.
if you do or you don't. So we're just here to give you information, and we're not here to tell you how great we are. You'll
Yeah.
find that out when you call us. So, that's it, and it's worked for us so far. So, and I
I've
think
got
it's working for Anjanette.
I saw your link there, Andy, agentsoffreedom.com. I've got that written down right here. I'm going to plug in.
Yeah, and I think I think it's the Agents of Freedom. Did I
Yeah,
put that in there right?
theagentsofreedom.com.
Okay, perfect. Yeah,
Yep.
and if you'll put in that promo code, it gets you 50% off.
Got it.
Andy's the best.
Perfect.
It's a
No,
great.
it's fascinating, for a generation. I've seen this. My nephew is making a living on a fashion brand right now that he's developing, and it's all done on YouTube. He has no footprint, he has no inventory, everything he sells has been bought and paid for, and he advertises all of it on YouTube, basically. It is how his generation, he's 22 years old, and it's how these kids move.
Yeah, I have another guy who's paying me to basically build out his YouTube channel for him. He has a podcast. And it's growing exponentially. It's unbelievable how fast it's growing. But he has recently, I told him when we first got started, I said, you know, you don't have any sponsors. I said, and you and I are on a different thinking scale. Because with my YouTube channel, I don't care about subscribers. I don't care about views. I'm not after the vanity matrix. What I want is that phone to ring. He's
Uh-huh.
on a different scale. He wants the subscribers, he wants the views, and the reason why is because he wants an advertiser to
Uh-huh.
see people getting in front of so many eyes so that they'll pay him
Yep.
for product placement. So I said, well, let's get ahead of the curve. Just start doing product placement. I said, so what? And he goes, what do you mean? I said, well, do your podcast. And it's called it's called Chapped Ass Podcast. You know, like he comes on every week and says, you know what chaps my rear end, and he comes on, but I told him, I said, so put Gold Bond medicated powder in every shot, right behind your head. And he said, oh man, that's such a great idea. I said, then he wears Oakley sunglasses on top of his head. I said, in the middle of you talking to somebody, just say, man, our future is so bright here. I got to put on my Oakley shades, and I said, do stuff like that. Mention the product. Start doing product placement. I said, you have a Diet Coke sitting in front of you. Go, golly, hold on one second, folks. I got to take a sip of my Diet Coke here. And I said, just put them in the video, and eventually, when you build up the subscribers and the views, then you
Mhm.
can send them that video and say, "Hey, I've been mentioning your product for a while. Why don't you pay me and I'll continue to mention it more." I said, and we'll get some. And we finally got our first. We don't have but like 400 or 500 subscribers now, something like that. But we've already gotten a sponsor to reach out to us. You know,
Well,
so
what
yeah,
was it a few years ago? There was that guy riding a skateboard and he was listening to reggae or something like that, and he was drinking cranberry juice, I think. And it was something like, I got my truck stolen or something like this. And it went viral. And, Ford or GM, somebody sent him a brand new truck, and the cranberry company was like, you're our guy.
yeah, it's
Yeah.
crazy.
Yeah.
Now there's that power in video,
Yeah.
everything's going there. And now with Google owning it, it's like, and video showing up in your searches and all that. I mean, it's just people get to know you, like you, trust you, like Andy
Yeah.
said, like with the video. So it's a whole new direction.
Well, and I'm into AI big time, but I read a stat the other day that the Google search is going away. Google's going to stop having the blue search links, and basically everything's going to be an AI mention. But right now, and I bet this would surprise you, what do you think the number one AI tool that is used by everyday people, the number one AI tool is right now? Because I would have said it was ChatGPT.
Claude.
That's my first thought. Yeah.
It is definitely 100% Gemini, and it's way above everybody
Oh,
else
interesting.
Because
because
it's
Google
Google.
made it so convenient. It's right there at
Mhm.
the top of your search bar. All you have to do is click Gemini and then ask it about the page that you're on if you have a question, and it'll tell you anything you want to know.
Hmm.
So that's how I write my newsletters now, Jeff, is I go into Google, into Gemini, and if I pull up an article, I'll sit here with my whisper flow and I'll say, write me a blog post based on this video or this article, at for my newsletter aimed at people trying to buy in this demographic. And then 2 seconds later it spits it out. So I
Yeah.
have a whole blog post to put in my newsletter, and then I'll say, give me an image that, or a prompt to put into Canva to create an image so that I don't get a copyright infringement. And it'll give me a prompt. I put it into Canva, it creates the image, boom. I do it all in a matter of, I can build out my newsletter now in about 7 minutes.
Hmm. Wow.
And I do it all through Gemini. So it's crazy.
Yeah.
Very cool. Good stuff.
Good stuff.
Well, cool. Yeah, Angelina.
I said good stuff.
Oh yeah, yeah, no, for sure. So, all right, this dog has got to be fed. He's making me crazy. It's my daughter's.
Jeff's dog saying it's time to go.
they're they're out of town. We're dog sitting. Are you hungry? Are you hungry? Yeah, you hungry. He's a great dog. He follows me around when I leave. Oh my god, makes my wife crazy. He whines like this when I leave.
Is that the one that sleeps a lot?
What's that?
Is that the one that sleeps a lot?
No, that's
Oh.
our dog. I mean, yeah, she's laying down here. She doesn't.
Okay.
She can't hear
I was
anything.
gonna say she's real active now.
Yeah, no, this one here, he's. I know. Yeah, I get it. I get angry soon. I gotta eat. You don't know. I'm gonna die. I'm gonna die. He's a great dog. But anyway, yeah, I leave. And when I come back, I was out last night at a men's group that I went to, and I got back, and oh my gosh, it's like I have to bring him in here. I just come into my office, close the door, get it out. He goes nuts. Just like, it's just going crazy. I'm like, oh my gosh. Anyway. Yeah, you're a good boy. All right. I got to run. I do have another Zoom too. So, Andy, we probably don't need to be on in an hour.
No. I mean, I'm going to be traveling, so I'm probably not on anything for the rest of the day.
Okay, cool. Sounds good. You guys.
Thank you all, gentlemen
have a good
and
weekend.
ladies.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
Thank you, guys.
Thanks very much.
See y'all.
Have a nice weekend.
Bye-bye.
Bye.